And I found that it didn't matter how long it was. It wasn't a length issue. A lot of people think it's a length issue, which, you know, that comment out of context could mean anything. But I have just found that whether it's 15 minutes or an hour, I still feel gross.
What's that movie? Is it a hit? Don't ask her like she'll say, I haven't seen it.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen podcast. This is a podcast where we bring people on a show and we get them really drunk and they tell me about a movie that I've never seen before. And I'm Alenka Zach.
And I'm Will.
A little known fact, Will's also our composer now. We had to drop Zach.
Yeah, we dropped that
out.
dude. No, I just didn't have the theme to play for this recording. So
I think I like your version better.
You know why I didn't have the theme? Yeah,
yes.
my version's pretty good. I didn't have the theme because this is kind of a last minute. We had a last minute cancellation, but someone has come to our rescue, jumped in to the place. We have a returning guest, folks. Sitting beside me, actually, in person,
so jealous.
Is not Alenka. She's still over the internet. Is a theater artist and head of development at Gargantua Theater, the lover of three things: Christmas, Shakespeare, and the Intercounty Baseball League baseball team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's Mollie Garrett. Welcome back.
Hi. Thank you so much. Lovely introduction. Happy to be back. It's what I do. Happy to jump in.
Yeah, we know you love the Toronto Maple Leafs, the baseball team, everyone, not
just
the hockey team.
Not to be confused, the Toronto Maple Leaf Intercounty Baseball League team.
Yeah.
Check them out. You'll see me there every home game.
She's a real baseball fan, this one.
It's honestly such a fun thing.
It's summer.
Yeah.
It is such a fun thing. And it's summer. Baseball is summer and baseball. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And other things like drink. Although if you don't drink, that's fine. You can drink non-alcoholic or pop or juice or what have you.
Milk.
You swim.
Chocolate milk.
Yeah. And you know what else is super summery? This movie we're about to watch. I feel like this movie is very sweaty.
Actually.
This movie is very sweaty.
Very, very sweaty.
Very summer.
Oh my.
Yeah. What are we watching, this lover of Shakespeare over here?
Ooh, we are watching the absolute 1996 classic Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet.
Yes, plus.
It
plus
would be
is very important.
Okay. Oh, yes. I'm already cringing.
What's that equal? Love.
Everyone.
Oh, is that why they did
Star-crossed, terrible decision making. Love.
Terrible.
I don't know why they did that.
No,
honestly, it's probably just it's kind of like when movies or other things, have that iRobot. They're just or they put little things in front of, a plus is better than the and sign because it just looks, better, brandier.
Made it more edgy.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, that makes sense.
It's a bit punk rock. What's up?
Yeah, exactly.
Romeo and Juliet is so punk rock.
Can I ask, Alenka, what is your history with the Bard and Shakespeare?
The Bard and Shakespeare.
we're reversing this. We're interviewing you now.
Yeah, so stressful.
Just for some context going into it.
I mean, so I think I mentioned earlier, I know some of the plays. I took high school English. We had to read it. And I think I was one of those people that got really jazzed on philosophizing. What it was that Shakespeare was actually saying, and got really excited about that, but really also probably wanted to just deter the teacher's attention from actually doing stuff in class. So was I a good student that really took in what the stories were? Not really, but everybody knows this one, so I know. And I will say that the Proud Family on Disney Channel did a Romeo and Juliet episode, and that is what I am thinking of.
Yes, they did.
When I think of this.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
All
right. That is my
Mollie, I know it was very last minute.
It was last minute.
But why did you
it was.
Why did you choose this movie?
Why did I choose this movie? Well, again, I mean, we've mentioned it. It was a bit last minute. So I just went through that list and thought, what can I do confidently? I saw my boo, William Shakespeare, and I thought, yep, I can do that. But I do love Shakespeare, bit of a nerd. And Romeo and Juliet is my favorite Shakespeare. And I have seen this movie enough times that I remember it. So it just felt like all of the stars aligned.
Oh, they did.
I know that's from something.
Well, Lenka, here's my challenge now.
Okay.
You're not going to explain the plot of Romeo and Juliet.
No.
Even if you don't know it, I just expect you should probably know it.
Yeah.
If you participated in the Canadian high school system, you should probably know it.
I know it.
So instead, I want you to explain to me what you think, like, the theme or like the aesthetic of this movie has.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Within the plot. Because I know you're going to get the plot right. So tell me
what
how you think they change it up.
What year
so it's
is
1996?
96.
It is 96.
Yes.
So
do you know who's in it? Let's start there. Do you know who is in this movie?
Okay, I think I'm getting this confused with the what's Shakespeare in Love? That's different, but
no, okay, that's
Very
different.
Listen,
also on my
wait,
list of I could do this
wait.
movie in a heartbeat.
Right. So like I think I can see the cover of this. So is it Leonardo DiCaprio?
Ding ding ding.
Nice. So it's him
Little
and some
Leo.
chick. And she's got angel wings on.
We'll get there. Oh, you're there.
That's
Alenka.
what I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like
yep.
That's all you need to know.
So
really.
far, not wrong on either
I mean,
count.
that is the big image. Like that's like the parodied image. You know, that's
True.
the angel wing image is definitely fame.
We'll get there.
Real fame.
Yeah, okay.
Real fame.
I'm ready. I'm for it. Yeah, I mean, I think they're just like some fucking kids, like in real time. Just like going to a costume party, baby.
I mean,
No?
that's
Okay.
not the whole movie. It's
No.
an
But
important part,
Yeah.
but not the whole movie.
Okay.
So Verona, so Romeo and Juliet famously takes place in Verona.
Mm-hmm.
Italy?
It's what?
I don't know what I just
in
said.
Italy. But for Baz Lurhman, we are battling like hotel empires in Miami on Verona Beach.
It's basically like Trump versus Hilton, I think.
It's absolutely Trump versus Hilton.
Exactly.
Like it looks like
I
Las
don't
Vegas,
like
but
this.
it's not.
Yeah.
Already.
No, Alenka, it's so you're wrong.
Okay.
With that very limited information, what happens, Alenka? Tell us.
Okay. Leah, we've got big bad boy Trump towers, hotels. And
Trump will be Montague.
Daddy Trump. Yeah, Daddy Montague thing. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Daddy Montague is like, listen, Romeo, maybe. Is it you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Romeo.
No, bang on. You're absolutely right.
Okay,
Romeo
listen,
Montague.
Romeo, buddy. We're coming to this Miami beach and we're going to fuck it up.
I'm your father, Ted.
I'm your father.
Yeah. And he's like, Romeo, bud, I need you, baby, buddy. Yeah. Like it's this weird dad-son vibe where like his dad's like his friend and his buddy and like his Coke dealer all at the same time. And he's like, Romeo, why don't you just scope out the beach?
I think you've seen this movie, Alenka.
Why don't you just scope out the beach, get the vibe for the plebs that are down there that are going to be coming to our hotel. Tell me what they want to party with, you know? Tell them what we need to get. And he's like, got you, Papa Montague. He goes
definitely
down.
see the beach scene in a trailer or something.
Yeah,
you definitely
there's
have.
a beach, and
There's definitely a beach.
I have a fun fact about the beach.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And then Lady Capulet. So yeah, it's the mom matriarch. She runs that hotel shit. And she's like, Juliet, we are so well off and things are going so well. You just do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care right now at this time. She's like, just go off, have fun, dear. Like, we're badass bitches. And so Julia's just like hanging out at the beach. She meets Romeo or whatever. And then they like, we know they fall in love or whatever. Then obviously, Lady Capulet and Papa Montague are just like starting their war. And truthfully, they ban their children. And honestly, little Romeo gets like cut off from his cocaine, and Juliet loses her like autonomy of like leaving the Capulet mansion. And we know the rest of the story. Like, I don't even need to finish.
I feel like there are themes
that I guess right
that you've absolutely hit upon.
Real themes.
I think we got lost in the detail.
No. No way. Real quick pause. I need to let my cat out of the room. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'll pause it. All right. Well, that's an okay explanation.
It was pretty good. Do you know what? For never seeing it and basing all of your knowledge off of
Miami
the
Vice
beach scene that you've glimpsed at, my crude analysis at the beginning and the poster of the angel wings, I would give you a solid 7 out of 10 on guessing this movie.
Yeah, I give you like a
Not
B
bad.
in high school English class.
Like,
definitely.
That was my
You
brand.
didn't read the text, but you watched the movie.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
sounds about right.
Since it was last minute, it's a last minute drink that I am not drinking.
Yes,
but
drink.
I think it's a pretty good drink. So, listeners, if you want to join in drinking this drink, I think it should be a fun time. This drink is called Queen Mab.
Nice.
Mab.
I see Queen Mab hath been with
which
you.
is a quote directly taken from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Queen Mab.
Get it.
And what you're going to do is you got to find two houses, both alike in dignity. So we're going to take like Coke and Pepsi. They're both alike in dignity.
Oh,
choose your house, Coke or Pepsi.
Fair Verona.
And guess what? You're going to mix that with some absinthe. You're going to mix it up. Because I think that's,
what the hell?
You know what? I think that's like very evocative of this movie.
Absolutely.
Because you're taking a classic, right? Like Shakespeare, Coke, Shakespeare. And then you're throwing in
not to
some
pick our
real
teams.
fucking wonky, wacky vibes with that absinthe, aka Baz Lurhman. You're throwing Baz Lurhman into the mix, and it's all around crazy visually. It is kind of like an acid trip, this whole movie.
I'm ready.
So yeah, absinthe and choose your house, Coke or Pepsi.
Oh my gosh,
I didn't think it would
like
be like this.
Ross and Monica's mom was in it.
Oh yeah.
Actually, the reason it's kind of an acid trip of a movie, I was just reading this, that Baz Lurhman, I love this. It's a long quote. I'm not going to put the Have You Seen It podcast through the long quote, but Baz Lurhman has this hilarious quote that I encourage people to look up, where he goes on like a little bit of a diatribe talking about, well, I was just sitting there thinking, if Shakespeare were to make a movie of one of his plays, he would make a movie because he was an entertainer first and foremost. And it's going on about how like he was up against bear baiting and like other crazy entertainments at the time. And he was an actor first and foremost. So he wanted to put on a good show. And therefore he would have made the most ridiculous movie ever. And that's why this movie is kind of crazy.
It's very, very crazy.
I'm very excited.
I'm probably gonna throw out some fun facts from a class I took from a professor who wrote his thesis on this movie and has many interesting facts about it. Yeah.
I'm getting the real treat today. This is two real experts on the facts. He literally
has like notes. He has notes from like the production. Yes. He has notes from like the production crew and the designers from the movie. He interviewed them for his thesis. So I'm going to pull some of those fun facts out.
Can't wait.
I think it's just one, but that's okay. Or no, there's two. There's two fun facts.
Can't wait for those.
Molly, how does this movie start?
Well, okay, classic. It starts, as any Shakespeare would, with a television set with static electricity playing. Okay. And that is because Baz Luhrmann cleverly, in my opinion, made the prologue chorus character the news and the media. So the media is this sort of third-party chorus entity, and also tragedy.
He wants you to know, because a lot of the promo images in the trailer do have the costume party scene, which we'll get to.
They do.
So everyone's like, "Oh, it's this classic telling sometimes," but then you want to know right off the bat, we're in the 90s. It's a television set.
One of my beloved professors. Okay, you go.
Whenever they make these plays into the movies, they use the original script, right?
Not all the time.
No.
Okay.
For a classic example, 10 Things I Hate. No, not 10 Things I Hate About. Yeah, 10 Things I Hate About
well,
You.
Taming
right.
of the Shrew.
Taming of the Shrew, right?
It's just
Yeah.
based on Taming
That's
of the
based
Shrew.
on,
though.
so
Right,
it's like
right.
it's essentially the same. West Side Story is Romeo and Juliet, not at all the classic script.
She's the Man
Right.
is...
She's the Man is...
Yeah, I know
Twelfth
about those.
No,
This
Azure.
one, though,
Oh.
that is of
I
the
don't
same
remember.
name. Is this one?
Yes.
Yes, so this is
Okay.
classic script. So we're OG, like thou, thy...
Interesting,
Art.
interesting. Cool.
Yes. The
You know,
law, they call
what
their
light through
guns
yonder
longswords.
Well, yes. So the guns. So instead of having swords, they have two guns that are different brands. One is called a longsword, and one is called a dagger, and that's how they get around the text saying "I stab you with my dagger." Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
yeah, we get this television
yes.
media, like, two houses, both alike a dignity.
Fair
They
Verona.
tell the whole story.
lay our seat.
And it's like all the there's newspapers kind of giving you the idea of like
Flashing,
Capulet
saying,
and
like,
Montague,
yeah.
their
You see
hotel
the
chain
two hotel
people.
or empire chains, like,
And all their
standing
children
tall.
and like the younger part of their families like battle it out on the streets. It's like a gang war between
And
the two
yes,
families all the
exactly.
time.
So we meet the two gangs, the
Oh, yeah.
Montagues and the
Stop.
That's like the
this.
first major scene.
So the
This
big
is
players,
silly.
Lincoln, that you got to keep track of. It's so silly. The big players we got Romeo Montague,
Him.
Played by Leo.
played by
Lee.
like beautiful Leo
Baby
in his
boy.
prime, baby boy Leo. Then we've got his BFFF, Benvolio.
Mm-hmm.
And then on there's other people, but
Which is
like,
his
I'm
cousin,
not going
right?
to lie to you. No, he's just a friend. You're thinking of Tybalt, who is
Oh.
Juliet's cousin, but we're not
That's
there
Juliet's cousin.
We're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
there
yeah.
yet.
Okay.
There are other people on the Montague clan. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know their names. I'm being a bad
Fair.
Shakespeare
One of them,
fan.
though, is
Wow.
X Factor, the Jamie Kennedy.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there's like two or three other dudes. There's this crazy dude with like pink hair. He's like looks like he's
Nuts.
coked out the whole time.
Yeah, that's Jamie
They
Kennedy.
are.
There you go. So that's the X Factor dude.
Not X Factor. What the Jamie Kennedy's experiment? He had a prank show.
Well, there you go. So and
Same.
then on Capulet's side, again, don't know anybody else in the tribe. It's pretty much just Tybalt.
Yikes.
Played by
who is-
John Leguizamo.
Oh,
An amazing role.
excellently played
Yeah.
by him.
Who?
And he is Juliet's cousin. Oh, have you seen? Well, the only thing I can think of him is Moulin Rouge.
I know.
I've seen
The
that.
only thing I can
Movie.
think of, even though
He's
he's
the, like-
prolific, the only thing I can think of is he played Luigi in the Mario
Oh my
movie.
god!
What?
Oh, great casting
Yeah,
though.
he
Great
did, yeah.
casting. In Moulin Rouge, he's like the guy who's walking around on his knees the whole time, and he's like, Christian, like, welcome to, like, he's like guiding Christian through Bohemia.
Can't remember. That's fine.
It's gonna be fine. People
He's
will
quite
be
a well-known
know
actor
who
in a
it
lot of
is.
things, but
He's in-
Yeah, I know who it is.
He's lovely.
I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
think of
Yeah.
his face if I'm right.
So-
he's great. He's got this whole like kind of like Mexican gang member aesthetic,
does.
but he's got like
Yes,
fancy
I know
clothes
who
with,
he
like,
is.
like
He's excellent.
Yeah.
the Saint Maria or whatever,
guy.
like graphics on his vest, and he's got like the fucking mustache and goatee look and the slick back hair. It's real. He looks real cool in this.
He does look
Okay.
real cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Honorary
Good.
mention for Mercutio, who is on team Montague, however, is not present in the opening bit where we get to meet everyone.
Okay.
And so the opening bit is done on a highway, on a freeway, and they're driving their fancy cars real fast and shouting things at each other. Fun fact, I can't quote it for you because I don't remember it off by heart, but that first scene is really just a bunch of dick jokes.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you read
Fun.
it back, it's Shakespeare dick jokes back and forth.
It is
Awesome.
It's just like, it's literally two groups of dudes being like, my dick is bigger than yours, and I'm going to prove
Yeah.
it.
So these two cars, the Montagues Capulet car,
Just
the boy, they're
Shakespeare
called
things.
the Montague boys,
Just the
and then the
Montague boys.
Capulets, which again is just like Tybalt. He's the only like character that like
This is
known
so
actor.
spicy.
The other guys are
So spicy.
are there, but they pull up to this gas station and then they're
They
having
do.
a confrontation with their guns. And
Yes.
there's this gas station.
Oh.
Here's my first fun fact
You're
from
going to take
the
my
thesis.
fun fact, but you go.
Okay, you know it too.
I do know it.
Yeah. So this professor that I had talked about the fact that Baz Lurhman
Yeah,
is the kind of
yeah.
director who wants to be able to shoot anywhere, even if they don't plan for it.
Detail-oriented.
He's very
Even
detail
if
oriented.
what?
So even if they don't plan to shoot where in so he wanted to be able to shoot
ready
anywhere
have
he
a
wanted.
Handheld
Okay,
camera
okay.
literally anywhere on the set.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Gotcha.
anywhere.
So this gas station that they stop in front of, in the final cut, at no time do they go inside
Mm-mm,
this gas
never.
station. But Baz Luhrmann, who wanted to build this world very solidly, needed every prop on set, needed everything that they interact with to be Shakespearean. Meaning, if they were holding onto a pop can, that pop can label had Shakespearean on it.
Yeah. And there are lots of, like, for all you Shakespeare nerds out there listening in, there are lots of like Easter egg references throughout the movie to the other plays. On like signs and in marketing, like on like posters, and
that's really good.
There's loads of references to the other plays as well. So he really built the world of the play within like Shakespeare.
And so the fun fact is that gas station was like filled to the brim with products and pop and all of it.
Chip,
products,
pop, whatever you
with
see
special
in a gas
labels
station.
and Shakespeare. They never shot inside.
Never.
He just wanted to be in case. He's like, I might shoot it inside, so I need this gas station to be filled with those props.
Just
and in my mind, I love film, but what a waste of fucking money.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. But so there's loads of shaky references.
Yeah. So this professor had an image of one of the, like, I think it was a gum wrapper or something that had like Shakespearean on it,
I love
that he got from the production designer of this movie. And that was that's our first fun fact. And I think there's only one more later.
There's not many.
No.
Okay.
But they confront each other in front of this Shakespearean gas station that we never go inside.
And they have their first fight, which is the dick.
And they're like, do you bite my tongue at me? Do you bite your tongue at me, sir?
I do bite my thumb at you, sir.
Exactly.
Fun.
And the podcast just turns into us redoing
it's just Shakespeare.
our
Yeah, we're reciting Shakespeare.
I already want to watch this.
You should. Oh my God, Aleka,
You
you should. So then we leave the gas station, and that's when Leo comes.
Yeah, sort of. Basically, we leave the gas station.
Camera cut.
But the media is like overtop this whole movie,
That's
right?
true.
So we see kind of both sets of the parents of the family heads seeing on the media,
so,
and they're about to confront each other too.
Basically, the media captured this fight at the gas station. And like a helicopter is all like, put your guns down.
Oh yeah.
Or like, well, it's
also,
Prince. It's Captain Prince.
In Romeo and Juliet, like the law of the land is the prince.
It's the prince.
But
So
in this one,
Prince?
it's a police captain named Captain Prince.
Captain Prince.
Yeah.
Classic, obviously.
Okay.
So Captain Prince shows up and he's all like, put down your swords. If you ever squabble again, I will F all of you up.
I'll fuck you in your ass.
Just like, never, ever, ever do this again. Stop effing, like, stop fucking up our streets.
Yeah.
So that everyone's like, all right, cool, put our swords down. And like, yes, you're right. You switch to like the limos of each parent family of the captains.
Yeah. And this is the first time you get that their guns are called long swords for me, because I think it's Ted Montague. His name's Ted.
Yeah, so it really fun. They all get first names in this. They're not just Lady and Lord Capulet and Montague. Yeah. They get first names.
Ted Montague.
Cute. They're real people.
He goes like, fetch me my long sword, ho. And I always thought he was calling his wife a hoe, but
no, ho means like ho.
It just means now.
Go get
do it
it
now.
But
then it kind of like fast zooms into this gun he has on the wall, and it says long sword on the side, where it would say maybe like Beretta 9mm or some shit.
Absolutely.
I like
so
that.
That's when and then that's when we get the cute little cameo that I completely forgot, which is that Monica and Chandler. No, Monica. Who's Monica's sibling? Ross. Monica and Ross from Friends. Their mom is Lady Montague.
Let's call her Becky Montague. I don't know.
Becky Montague. So then we do a camera cut, and now we're on the beach.
We're on the beach.
Steamy, steamy beach. It's golden hour, like 5 p.m. There's this big proscenium arch with a big hole in the back missing. And who do we see but angsty little Leo sitting there writing his little notebook. He's all heartbroken over Rosaline. Who is Rosaline? It doesn't matter. We're never going to meet her.
Oh, yeah.
She's the bitch off screen.
She doesn't exist.
Oh,
and his cousin Benvolio, or his friend. Is it his cousin? I
swear it's his friend.
Benvolio's his cousin.
Is this really how it happens in the play? Romeo starts off heartbroken about another woman?
Absolutely.
No way.
Yes. He's like, I can
that.
think of no other girl but Rosalind. She's the one for me. Wow,
so funny. What a brat.
It's,
He
just goes from one woman to the next.
He literally has a sickness called melancholy. It's a sickness back in the day. He's like, I'm ill.
Now.
I have melancholy.
Yeah. So he's all set on the beach, super young, super heartthrobby.
Very young.
So
very
nice.
heartthrobby.
Yeah.
And also, like, again,
hair.
all of it's just, it's like, this is like Venice Beach, I think it's supposed to be more or less.
It's absolutely like Venice Beach.
Because it's so hot and sweaty. This whole movie feels hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Dirty Dancing. Kind of
It
like
is
Dirty Dancing.
Shout out to Megan Landers.
That I know. But I know now.
Yeah, you know now.
You know
I
now.
still didn't watch
So
it.
we
Sorry,
get him.
Megan.
They talk. They're Shakespearean talk, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going. Like, come hang out with the boys tonight. Forget your troubles. Forget this girl."
Yeah, Benvolio's like, "Come be with us. Come be with the bros."
Yeah.
And so then
It cuts to the Capulet mansion,
Yeah,
and we finally see Juliet.
right, we finally meet
Well,
Juliet,
we
played
meet
by the
Lady
beautiful Claire Danes.
Yeah, Claire Danes of Homeland fame.
Of Homeland fame.
I
When she
don't-
was
Well,
but
of this
we-
movie fame, but
of
now
this movie
Homeland fame.
and now Homeland fame. But when she was wee and 17, little
Yeah.
Claire, baby Claire Danes.
BB
I'm
Claire.
Googling.
And
It's-
we meet Lady Capulet.
Lady Capulet, who is like
Insane.
your
Oh,
classic, like,
Deadbeat mom, not around, kind of like pushed her kid off onto the nurse.
just wants to
Right,
be
yeah,
a famous
yeah.
kind of
Right.
person, probably like
She's
all about the dresses and the makeup and doesn't care about her daughter.
Not here for motherhood at all.
Yeah.
right.
So she like shows up in Juliet's room and she's basically, so they have their first little motherly daughterly heart to heart, as you do.
As she's trying to drown herself, I don't know. We first see her
That's
face
right.
is submerged in water.
So like Juliet's going through a time.
She's not drowning herself,
Juliet's
but she's
like
also
in a
sad.
bathtub floating. And
Okay.
like the nurse comes in and is like, Juliet. And her she's like, her mother is here. And so her mother like rolls up wigless, getting ready for the party that's about to happen. And they have their first cute mother-daughter heart to heart. And her mom is basically like, you are 14. So you're basically an old lady. Why aren't you married yet? You're ruining my life by not being married. I think you should get married. That's it's just classic mom daughter chats that you have. Super understanding, super loving. And she's like, you should probably just like meet the first dude at this party and like that's
Yeah.
it. Oh no,
Latch.
actually she's like,
No, they want her to meet.
What's his name? Oh god, it's Paul Rudd. Who
It is Paul Rudd.
Oh,
Paul
is it
Rudd.
really?
Which, like,
Very small role.
What a tough
Which
choice,
is amazing.
right? Leo and Paul Rudd.
Oh, yeah.
Who are you
Paul
gonna
Rudd
pick?
all the
I don't
way.
I mean,
know.
Paul Rudd still hasn't aged, or Leo definitely has aged, but
Paul Rudd, baby.
Oh yeah, it's true. If you want the time machine, man,
Yeah,
take
yeah.
the. What's his name?
Isn't it Dave Prince?
God, is it
If you want someone
because Prince
funny
is-
and
I know,
cool,
it's Dave though. I know it's Dave. The fake first name. I
Dave
forget.
something.
I know. I forget
Dave.
who the
it's
actual.
Paul
They want her to meet
Rudd.
Dave. They
It's
wanted
Paul
to meet
Rudd,
Paul
yeah.
Rudd. They're
Let's
like,
call
this
it Paul
cool
Rudd.
guy named Paul Rudd is coming to the party tonight.
She
You
picked
need to,
the
like,
wrong one.
Marry
man.
him
Yeah.
for so many reasons, Alenka. For so
I
many
know.
reasons.
He's so
Oh,
nice.
he's so
He didn't
nice.
just get out of a long-term relationship with Rosalind, like
You know,
Right.
he's about to hit it big
he's not
with
best friends with a dumb friar.
fucking
Like
Judd Apatow, he's about to hit it
he's up to
big
like
time.
hit
Yeah.
his stride, and
Yeah.
he's never going to
Damn.
age.
Never
So,
gonna
yeah,
fucking
they're like-
age.
they're like, Paul Rudd's coming. You should hit that.
yeah.
And Juliet's kind of like, I don't want to get married ever. And when I do, it will be
Grow up.
for love.
Oh, whatever.
It's true. You just gotta marry for money. That's the way to go.
Camera. Yeah.
Yeah. Or to increase
That's
your
the-
family's legacy.
Right.
That's the
In the
true
hotel business.
moral of Romeo and Juliet is
Yeah.
that don't marry for love, marry for money.
Love
Yeah.
just gets you killed.
And
Love gets you
status,
killed.
baby.
Spoiler alert.
So we cut. What's the spoiler?
We do a
alert?
camera cut. The spoiler alert is in the prologue. The prologue
Oh,
literally
yes.
says star-crossed lovers take their lives. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
cool. Like, I'm glad I
we know.
stayed.
We know what it. Yeah.
I'm glad I
Yeah,
came.
Well, that was the thing. That was the thing with Shakespeare, right? He was like, "I'm going to tell you everything that's about to happen,
Everything.
just in case you're like, I
Right.
think I'll leave."
Yeah.
No, that's
Just so you know,
fair.
this
This
is what
show.
you're gonna miss.
Yeah.
That's
So then
fair.
we camera cut. We're back on the beach. Romeo's with his boys.
Oh yeah, they're having this
hanging out.
crazy psychedelic party. They're all
Crazy
in
party.
costumes.
Everyone's in costume.
Whoa.
Fun fact: everyone's in a costume that reflects part of their character. Juliet's an angel.
Okay.
Romeo's a knight. Lady
Interesting.
Capulet is like Cleopatra.
Well, they're not at
Okay.
this costume party yet, but they're
They're
at this
not.
like
They're gonna
weird
gate
carnival
crash it. They're
thing
gonna
with the
gate crash the
Montague boys.
party.
Yeah, they're gonna crash it.
So the Montagues are going to crash.
This is
Capulet's
where
party.
we are introduced to his very good friend
to Mercutio, who my total nerdy sidebar, best character in the whole play. All right,
Okay.
Mercutio, and in this movie, he is the unsung hero.
Oh, yeah.
people sleep on his performance.
Oh, he's so
Mercutio
good.
is excellent.
in this movie specifically.
He's just
Okay.
Mercutio.
Well, he shows up kind of like
I
dressed
mean,
like a drag
again,
queen,
he
and he
shows
is
up dressed like a
he's
drag
so
queen.
big.
He has an
He's so
excellent
big.
speech. I see Queen Mab hath been with you, and
Yeah.
he's like, he's the only one with a brain. He's like, Romeo, forget this Rosalind chick. Let's go have a good time.
Let's get fucked up.
Let's get fucked
Sure.
up.
So he doesn't give him absinthe, I realize.
No, he gives
actually
him ecstasy.
he gives him ecstasy.
So everybody, instead of putting absinthe in your drink, you need to just crush up a little bit of ecstasy.
Yeah, get some ecstasy, please.
Like, put it in your drink, figure it out,
Coca-Cola.
have a good time.
It may react like Mentos. I don't know. It could.
Like, who knows? But like, good luck, and tell us in the comments how it went.
You know what?
your
Just for
trip?
good measure, also put some absinthe in that shit. Do it.
Yeah, if you really want to have a good time. So
don't wanna get
Mercutio
sued.
gives an excellent speech. Yeah. Please don't do any of the things we just said.
Yeah, we are not experts. I have never done ecstasy. So if
Or
you have,
absinthe.
you know your limit, stay within it.
Know your limits and stay within it.
Stay
Play
within it.
Yeah.
I
So-
like that.
So, Mercutio gives an excellent speech. It's a beautiful little scene, and it's very classic Baz Lurhman. Like, everything's fucked and all over the place. Romeo does his little ecstasy, and he's like, I'm going to go to this party, and I'm going to meet the girl of my dreams, and it's not going to be Rosaline. Then they gate crash the Capulet party. Everybody's like partying up a storm. It's a masquerade, so they've all like snuck in because, of course, feuding families. Obviously, everyone knows everyone.
Right.
Feuding families, and Romeo ends up in a bathroom with a weird fish tank in the middle of the room that to this day I don't understand. There is a fish tank in the middle of the room, and Alenka, I swear to you, it cuts the fish tank into the girls' bathroom. Like, you can see it's in between the bathrooms.
This is rich people.
Weird.
This is, you know,
rich people don't give a fuck.
this is like eyes wide
rich
shut.
people go into
They're gonna,
space for fun nowadays. Like, we know they don't care.
Yeah. With their space sticks into space.
I also didn't realize that the song that's being sung right now is the original text of Romeo and Juliet's meeting. I was just reading the subtitles, and it's the original text. So arise, I'm so sorry. Arise, fair sun, and kill thy envious moon. Actually, that's not how they met. I'm messing all of this up. That's later.
But they see each other.
They see each other.
The fish
they see each other through the fishes.
Ooh, the looking
They make
they're like moving around.
Some real intense eye contact.
She's got the angel wings.
She does.
Right.
They're like making eyes at each other, literally through a fish tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to tell you. Like, they literally stare
like,
at each
you
other.
both just pooped. We're in love.
Exactly. And then like they exit, and they end up in an elevator together where they do the classic lines.
Oh, and then we meet Paul Rudd.
Oh no, that's right. We meet Paul Rudd first.
Yeah.
In his little spaceman suit.
He's
in
a spaceman. Yeah.
I'm watching this
literally
movie
in
just for that.
suit.
It's so cute. I love
and
him.
he is. It's amazing how much he doesn't age. Like I'm still amazed by that. I know it's the big internet meme, but still, when you actually watch one of those old Paul Rudd movies or the old an old Friends episode when he was on Friends, you're like, wow,
He has not aged.
How does he look the exact same?
He has not aged at all. So yes, that's right. She's dancing with Paul Rudd.
And how is she not like, I want that red dick?
I don't know.
She needs that red dick.
I don't know.
She's an idiot.
So she dances with Paul Rudd, and Tybalt is like, something is suspicious, and he susses out the situation, and he's like, what? Who are these dudes that just showed up halfway through? And he's like, oh man, that is Romeo Montague and all of his buddies. I hate all of them.
Yeah.
Like, this is messed up. So he goes to like main Capulet man, and he's like, these people crashed our party. Wah, like, kick them out. And main Capulet man is like, I'm not going to do that. Like, all these people are here. They're not causing a problem. Like, get over it. You're the one with the problem. And Tybalt is like, I will not rest until they are all dead.
Aren't Romeo and Juliet technically cousins?
No.
Nice.
Aren't they? Or do they just call each other cousins?
Everyone calls each other cousins.
Okay, because Father Tybalt, like, during this like scene, everyone's drunk and having fun. He goes, cousin Romeo. He calls him cousin Romeo.
Who, Tybalt does?
Yeah, old Tybalt. Old Tybalt.
There's only one character named Tybalt. Who is old Tybalt?
Oh no, sorry, old Capulet. Old Capulet. Sorry, not Tybalt. Old Capulet calls him cousin Romeo, and I'm like, wait, aren't the two families related?
Is it like
but they're
cousin?
Like, they might be. Leo, I also have to say, Leo is like giving Paul Rudd some dickish eyes. He's just like, oh, that guy can like dance. Like, wait till you see what I can do.
Funny.
Oh, whatever.
He's like,
he can make a joke.
Paul Rudd's the coolest, and I'm
you don't know what I can do.
Ugh. Why'd they cast Paul Rudd as not Romeo?
Because they knew what they were. Well,
Because Paul Rudd was not a leading man.
He was not a leading man at this point.
He really wasn't a funny man at this point.
Honestly,
he was just kind of,
it was Leo or bust. Like they were like, it's Leo or nobody.
Yeah.
Juliet, they auditioned 1,000 times.
Is this pre-Titanic or post?
It's post-Titanic.
It's post-Titanic.
Baz Lurhman saw him at the Titanic press and was just like, that's my Romeo.
There you go.
Didn't even see him act. He was just like, that's what I want Romeo to look like.
Yeah.
Boom, Romeo. Done.
The guy who's... Because he has to be the guy that every girl had a poster of, you know?
Yeah.
That's what Romeo
and
has
Juliet
to be.
was supposed to be Natalie.
Everywhere.
Yeah, but no, I don't think no girl in 96 had posters of Paul Rudd yet. It wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening.
But Juliet was supposed to be Natalie Portman, but she was 13 at the time, and they literally were like,
we're not going that literal.
They were like, we're not going that literal, and they did like screen tests, and apparently producers were like, it looks like Leo is molesting her.
Oh god!
Yikes.
They were just like, it's not okay, because he was 21, and they were like, this is not an okay age gap. Like, find someone else.
Right.
So they found Claire Danes.
Yeah,
perfect.
That's
I'm
like
so
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis in the '70s
call.
show.
They made the correct call.
Yeah.
Right.
So where are we at? So yes. So Juliet's been dancing with Prince, and Tybalt has figured out that Romeo's at the party, and he's like, this is messed up. Everything's messed up. I hate that these people have crashed this party. Romeo finally gets Juliet alone, and like, I have to again, like, I'm sorry to the listeners. I have to go off on my like nerdy little tangent. This is reason 500 why this is Shakespeare's best play. Romeo and Juliet meet, and they have that famous, beautiful scene where it's like, oh my god, I'm now blanking because I've had a drink.
I've had one drink.
I've had one drink. What is the first line when they meet? It's like,
Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
No, that's later. That is coming. I know it is later.
He's just like,
good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much for saints have hands and hands do touch and palm to palm is holy.
She's like, touch my hand, touch my booty. Romeo,
so it's like,
you're fire.
Basically, they meet and they have this back and forth, very witty exchange. But what is beautiful about this exchange, everyone, and like you asked a drama major to come on, you're getting the drama major read.
I'm ready.
Is that they meet and their dialogue is literally a sonnet. So they make a sonnet together. And if you read the iambic pentameter, a sonnet, for anyone who doesn't know, again, welcome to our lecture on why Shakespeare is still important. A sonnet is like an old times love letter. Mainly. Cute. I mean, it's not just for love, but a lot of them are for love. And it has a very specific rhyme pattern of A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, E. So it just means that the last words have to match. Yes, Allegra, I see your hand has been raised. You have a question.
Is this the iambic pentameter?
So iambic pentameter, so glad you asked. What a great question. Is 10 beats in a sentence. So good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much. For saints have hands and hands to hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss. There's 10 beats in each of those sentences.
Okay.
That's
I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road.
Yeah, exactly.
Going to ride till they can't no more.
Yes, that's an elongated.
No, that was 11.
All right. Oh shit.
Well, that just gives you an acting hint. So anyway, they make a sonnet, which is why it's so beautiful when they meet. They're literally like professing their love from the first time that they meet. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they like make out in an elevator. It's like they immediately. Make out.
It's immediately like, we're going down and we're getting down. Like, let's go.
This bitch is about to kill herself for him, and she's got Paul Rudd standing there at the ready to just start a responsible
regular
life.
Normal family.
It's not about quick love.
A responsible and normal life. Yeah. And so that is the infamous meeting of Romeo and Juliet in Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet. They meet in a fish tank, and then they move to an elevator. And Romeo and his friends are like, we out, like we've been spotted. Let's go. They pile into their little car. Romeo's literally like just staring at the house like a creeper. He's kind of like, I love architecture. I don't know. He doesn't want to leave.
Dem balconies,
right?
Man.
Dem balconies, and also at some point in all of that exchange of them, like the hustle to get out of the party, Juliet and Romeo have also equally learned, because like that's the whole thing going into it. I don't know why Romeo didn't put it together. They don't know that they're Montagues and Capulets. So that's the other important thing that has happened at this party, is that while they're at the party having a good time and Juliet's like dancing and stuff, the nurse, I think, lets Juliet know, by the way, that dude's like a Montague. And I don't know if a friend or if Tybalt, somebody tells Romeo, they're like, that bitch is a Capulet. And they're both just like, no.
Right.
What do we do? My
Exactly.
only love, my sworn enemy.
Yeah.
Like, give me a new name. A Montague I'll no longer be.
It's like Paris Hilton marrying Eric Trump. You can't do it.
You can't do it. You can't merge those families. It's not okay. They're
or Baron
leaving.
Trump.
And
no,
again,
he's too young.
Mercutio, the brains of the operation, is like, Romeo, forget that bitch. Get back in the car and be with your boys. He's like, what are you doing? You just met her. You're falling into another trap.
Yeah.
Right.
And Romeo's like, but I love her. And at this point, I feel as an audience member, you have to sit back and be like, okay, so Romeo was in love with Rosalind and she was like, I don't have time for you. And he was like, well, I love her. And then he met Juliet and suddenly he's in love with Juliet.
Well, that's because Romeo is like live fast, die hard. Really, like, he's just like quick and dirty.
And loose on the Verona beach.
He's like, take some ecstasy, fall in love with a new girl.
That's how you get over someone.
It's a toxic relationship about to happen here. Real toxic. Yeah.
Don't rip it apart. I love it.
So they like exit the party in his car, but then Romeo's like, fuck that noise. I'm gonna get out of the car. I'm gonna be a creeper and he literally climbs the walls.
Literally
of the party,
stalk this girl and climb her house to her window. And this is where we get the ultra famous Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?
Romeo. Yeah.
Romeo.
What does wherefore means?
Wherefore?
Yeah,
just
what
like
does it mean?
Well, isn't that the big thing?
Doesn't it not mean where are you? Yeah, why?
You might be right, Will. You might be right.
There's a huge debate of like, doesn't wherefore mean why?
That makes more sense. Why are you Romeo?
Yeah.
Right. I feel like in Family Guy they did do this scene. They did this scene and like Peter is Romeo and Lois is Juliet, and she's literally standing in front of him and she says the line and he's like, what do you mean? I'm right here. And she's like, wherefore means why. And he's like, that's fucking dumb. English.
Well, no, that's the whole thing. It means why, because she's like, wherefore art thou Romeo? She says, why art thou Romeo? Meaning, why are you a Montague?
Oh my God, I've learned something new. Yeah. Learning something new every day.
Why are you Montague?
Every day. Every day. So he's literally standing against a wall and she's like, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. And if thou wilt not take all of me, blah, blah, blah. Like very famous speech.
Yeah.
And then he, like the total creeper he is, literally jumps out at her from behind a wall, scares the shit out of her, and they fall into a pool together. How romantic.
Super romantic. He tries to drown her.
I want to be like unknowingly pounced upon from the back of my house.
That's the dream.
And then dove into a pool.
Okay, but would you want to be unknowingly pounced upon by Leo or Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd.
Which one?
Bring it on, Paul Rudd. Because it would turn into an actual funny joke. And then Leo would be like, this was meant to be. I'm staring into your eyes. It would
Leo would be like, I fought a bear
fun.
once. Yeah.
I fought a bear once. He also he's had such terrible luck. Like in his real life, he's been in 3 plane crashes, almost died from a shark attack.
Oh shit.
It's insane.
That's true.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, he's just not a lucky person.
That's why he's so happy.
I don't know why I know that. That's why he lives. He
never gonna die.
I mean, does Paul Rudd have? Yeah, Paul Rudd has kids and a wife.
No, he doesn't.
And Leo is just on a boat with models every month.
Just on a boat with models.
Yeah. He's also trying to help save the planet and the wolves and all that.
To be fair, he is trying to save the planet.
But Paul Rudd is the family man. Leo is the playboy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not the choice you want.
That's why they were
Claire.
Romeo and Dave.
Yeah.
That's why they were cast as Romeo and Dave.
Dave.
Yeah.
I forget the last name of the dude.
I know. I can't remember.
Like the actual character. Dave Rudd. Yeah.
It should be something like Prince, but it's not because it's Captain Prince. I know that.
I think there are 2 princes. I think
there might be 2 princes. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So they're in the pool. They have their famous love scene. They're all like, I love you. You love me. We just met. Who cares?
Right.
Like Juliet gets her security come out. She's just like, I'm just hanging out in my pool awkwardly alone. Ha ha ha.
In full dress.
In full dress. Like, bye. And then she basically, all of this culminates in her saying, like, if you come to me tomorrow, then we're married. We're basically engaged.
Yeah.
We'll be engaged.
You
just need to like hit me up tomorrow and we're engaged.
One day.
One day.
And a little shorter than some other people we know, but
so true. And Romeo's like, I can do that. I can absolutely do that. So he goes away. He's like, oh, like parting is such sweet sorrow. I shall say goodbye until tomorrow.
I want a new adaptation where then the next day Rosalind shows up.
I want a new
and she's just like, I want to get back together.
I want an actual decision to be made.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he's got it's like it's a rom-com comedy where he's like, I've got 2 girls on the go. Who should I choose? And then he's doing like 2 dates at the same time type thing.
New party, and they're both there, and he's the one who's like juggling it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Rosalind is played by like Elizabeth Banks. That's like I feel like she's like Paul Rudd. She's like the female equivalent of Paul Rudd.
I get that.
I agree with
she's
that.
likable.
Yeah.
Funny. It's great. Yeah.
So at this point, I believe Romeo leaves, and I think he immediately goes to Friar, but in Baz Luhrmann's adaptation, it's father. We won't fault him for that decision.
Right.
He goes to Father Lawrence's cell, I think, and is like, I met this girl. Well, actually, Father Lawrence, again, using his noggin, is like,
who is this?
Romeo. The last time I saw, so he's a friar. He's like a priestly fellow that Romeo is BFFs with. Don't ask me why. Maybe he was in the choir as a child. Who knows?
Right.
Oh, yeah. And this guy, the guy who plays him is
excellent.
He's in the town. He plays I think he's Irish.
He's also, if anyone's watched I think it was the BBC's Sharp. He's in that mini series with Sean Bean from like the 70s or 80s. Deep cut.
But he's got this big like cross tattooed on his back. He's in this fucking garden. Like
he's also in James and the Giant Peach. If anyone watched that weird movie from the 90s, I'm pretty sure.
What do you mean weird movie is
nice.
the best at a tent?
Alenka, it's a little weird. I love it, but it's great. Yeah. Like it's a little weird.
And he's also like making. I think he's making drugs. He's got plans.
He's like a
pharmacist / extracting shit.
Dude.
He's a scientist and a fucking religious man.
He's making poison.
Oh, he makes the poison. Yeah.
Don't know why. Put a pin in that till later.
Okay.
So he shows up. Fun fact about the friar, actually. It was supposed to be Marlon Brando.
Ooh.
And Marlon Brando, I was just reading this, like, found out that Leo was going to be Romeo, and he literally went to Baz Luhrmann and was like, the only thing Marlon Brando had seen Leo in at that point was What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And he was like, why are you getting someone who's not completely in control of their mental faculties to play Romeo? Which I'm like, did Marlon Brando not know?
Yeah.
That it's a movie?
Marlon Brando didn't know that Leo
I don't understand.
Which
acted?
Goes to show you, Leo DiCaprio convinced Marlon Brando, one of the greatest actors of the generation.
That he was actually... Yeah. So there's that. And then he dropped out. Marlon Brando dropped out because he had quote unquote family problems, which he like scribbled on a note to Baz Luhrmann. The family problems are that like his son was like in a trial for manslaughter.
Oh shit!
Like, it was so intense.
Also, Marlon Brando died when he didn't die. He died not too long after this movie.
Not too long after this movie. So he was supposed to be the friar, but instead it went to this fine gentleman whose name is escaping me. Who we've mentioned has been in all of these other things. He's had a different career. Anyway, Romeo goes to this dude and he's like, oh, Romeo, like, you're in love with Rosaline. How's Rosaline? Tell me about the Rosaline situation. And Romeo's like, fuck her. I found a new girl.
Yeah.
I am newly in love with Juliet. Yeah. And he's all like, a Capulet? You can't love a Capulet. This is bad news bears for everybody. And Romeo's like, I don't care. I love her. So he's like, help me. You need to marry us. And he's like, well, I don't know. I think it's a bad idea, but like, I guess fine. I think he like gets him to like agree to like do more churchly things or something. He's like, please like help me. And he's like, only if you'll be a better person. He's like, okay, I will.
Okay, fine.
So he's like, fine. I will come and help.
Help you with your quest.
And then I think we cut back to Juliet.
Fuck. Yeah.
Who enlists the help of the nurse.
Right.
So
No.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
I think we have another confrontation.
We have another confrontation
with the fucking
with the Montagues and the Capulets and their
boys,
their cute little gang, the boys led by Tybalt and at this point Benvolio. So the boys meet up on the beach.
No.
Everyone's just hanging out, having a good time, middle of summer. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Mercutio looking fine as hell.
Oh yeah. He's got that he's got like a white shirt, a white see-through shirt,
completely unbuttoned and open.
Yeah.
He's got his little like daggers, gun.
Yeah.
He's like playing with, and he's like hanging out with Benvolio, and he's like, "What's up? We are cool. We are young. We are living at the beach.
Yeah,
like this."
Guns and fucking the gun holsters, straps, the holsters that are like fucking pant straps. What are they called? Suspenders, like gun suspender holster type things. Yeah, they all wear that shit. Even Romeo has a gun. It's crazy.
That's a look.
Yeah.
And then, do the Capulets show up?
They definitely show up at some point.
They show up at some point, but I don't think we're there yet. Like, I don't think we're at. No, yeah. So we just
like
check
hanging
in.
out.
We're just doing a check in. We're just doing a check in with like Romeo and his boys, and he's all like, "I love this girl," and they're like, "Man, you crazy." And the nurse shows up. That's the importance of this scene. The nurse shows up, and the nurse is like, "Hey, Romeo, you were supposed to hit up my girl, and you didn't. Like, what's up with that?" And Romeo's like, "You're right. I'll come back with you." So the nurse is like, "Listen, like, you don't need to come back with me, but like, if you actually want to do this thing, show up like tomorrow at 2, and like we'll do this, and you can get married to Juliet." And he's like, "I'll absolutely be there 100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there."
So the nurse goes back. This is when we check in with Juliet. So the nurse goes back, and she's all like, "Hi, Juliet, I'm back from my day of shopping." And Juliet's like, "What happened while you're shopping?" And the nurse is like playing coy. She's like, "Nothing." And Juliet's like, tell me. Did you see the boy I like?" It's like it's very like.
And she's like, "Yes, I did see Paul Rudd. You're going to be with Paul Rudd."
Yeah, she's all like,
"You have no choice."
She's like playing it coy. She's like, "Give me a back rub. Give me a snack. Give me food. Like, I'm not telling you anything yet."
Because in this, the nurse is like technically like the maid of the house.
But she's also like a nanny. She's like, she's raised Juliet. Yeah. I mean, in the original, the reason she's called a nurse is because she's a wet nurse. So like Juliet's mom had her and then was like, "Fuck that. I'm not breastfeeding." So they got wet nurse in. Which is someone who had a baby but either lost the baby or couldn't keep it or whatever reason, but still has like milk. Sorry, listeners, to supply, and so they get sort of enlisted to help the baby through the first sort of year with breastfeeding and all of that kind of stuff. And then they just kept the nurse on, and she raises Juliet. So the nurse really is Juliet's like motherly figure that doesn't just try to like sell her to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
And so that's why she's like her BFF, like helping her through this. So the nurse shows up and she's like playing coy and being like, "I'm not going to tell you what I did with my day." And Juliet's like, "Please tell me." And she's like, "Okay, fine. If you want to get married to Romeo, you should go to this church tomorrow at 2 p.m. And Juliet's like, "I am there.
Yeah.
This is the man for me. What's up?"
She's putting a ring on it away.
We are going to the chapel and we are gonna get married.
That's intense,
and so they do. They go to the chapel.
And there's these young boys singing.
She's wearing a weird dress with like buttons up the front.
Yeah, it's a very alternative wedding dress.
Alternative.
He's got
Leo
just
is
like
in a suit that is far too large for him.
Too oversized.
Classic.
But that's the 90s, baby. Suits were big. Yeah.
Suits were too big.
He looks like a child here. I can't believe he's 21. He looks like he's 14.
Like an infant.
I could see why they wanted to cast Natalie Portman, although Claire Danes look fairly young. Actually, this 17. Shot specifically is so yeah.
So like,
it's very young.
It's a better gap than 13.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, they get married. Father Lawrence in this version, because people might not understand that a friar is the same.
Like monks.
Right. Friars are, I guess, like monks. The nurse is there to, be witness. She's crying. She's happy. They get married. So they get married, and then we cut to another squabble on the beach. So now we're back with our boys, with our Montague boys on the beach, and Tybalt has shown up.
Yeah, with his
Capulet
Now
boys.
This is kind of weird. So Tybalt is like a cousin to Juliet, and Juliet's parents. Okay, Juliet's dad is he's a guy who's in a lot of mob movies. I forget the actor, but is like Italian. But Tybalt and his crew are all like Mexican gangsters. So I'm like, I don't know what the relation is here, but they're definitely supposed to be like a Mexican gang style, but none of like Claire Danes is the whitest of white, but like none of like Claire's family.
That's so
Juliet's
true.
family
I never put that together, but
it's like Spanish.
You are absolutely
Man,
right.
But Tybalt's whole gang
you
is
don't have to look
Spanish.
Spanish to be Spanish, Will.
You know what I mean, though. Like Juliet's father is definitely like Italian. Like he's the mob boss.
Italian.
He's also an actor
And
famous
Claire
for being
Danes
mob bosses.
is nowhere near Italian. Like
Yeah.
nowhere near.
Or her mom.
So yeah, like both groups are on the beach, and Mercutio and Tybalt, they get into it.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Oh, there's like circling.
It's great.
It's
Uh-oh.
like
circle around the
it's
camera.
intense. There's some close-ups.
Ooh.
It's wild. And
Yeah.
Romeo rolls up and he's like,
Oh, shit.
what is this? What's happening? Because of course we will all remember, how could you forget, that at the beginning, Captain Prince was like, don't ever fucking fight again, or I will fuck all of you up.
He's like, I will fucking cast you out
You will
of
all
Verona,
be
Venice
donezo.
Beach, Verona Beach.
Oh,
Go.
Oh yeah, they call it Verona Beach, don't
Verona
they?
Beach.
They call it
do
Verona Beach. Yeah.
So
Okay.
so Romeo shows up and he's like, guys, like chill out. You can't fight. But like Mercutio and Tybalt, they're too far into it. They're like, it's heated, it's bad, it's intense.
It's tense.
It's very tense. This one dude's like pushing out bullets and he's like, we're gonna do a 1 bullet draw, like a Russian roulette situation. Like, what's
come
up?
on.
Like fucking Hamilton and the other guy.
Burr and Hamilton at where did they go? Weehawken at dawn.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Now, I'm going to drop my second fun fact, and that's it.
Go for it.
From the same professor. Again, the world building on this. So in this scene and some other scenes where there's crowds like gathering.
Oh yeah.
All the background actors.
Yeah.
Even though you can't fucking hear them whatsoever, they had to be, if they were like talking to each other, they had to be speaking some sort of Shakespearean.
Oh, good
like
for
they
them.
had to be saying like, what art thou? Like they had to be, they couldn't say normal words, because even if you could read their lips, he didn't want anyone to think that they're speaking normally.
I admire that dedication. I really do. I really do.
That's awesome.
So Romeo gets intense and he's all like, Tybalt, let's put this behind us. And he raises his hand. He's like, let's do this. And Tybalt's like, fuck you. No, I hate you. And at this point, it's very tense. I can't remember what Tybalt says, but he like super insults Romeo. Romeo's like, I'm gonna be the bigger person and I'm gonna walk away. And Mercutio's kind of like, you're gonna let him say that to you?
I think he essentially just says like, you don't get to fuck my cousin.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, fight me. I think that's what he's actually saying. He's like, fight me.
Yeah.
And Romeo's like, I'm not going to do it. And Mercutio's like, oh, hell no. We are not going to be insulted on this beach and like let this happen.
Right.
That's it. Romeo's like, I love you like a cousin. For now, we are cousins. You can't understand it because they have to keep their wedding a secret, obviously.
Right.
So
we
Romeo's like,
cousins.
Romeo's literally like, I'm not going to fight you because we're literally related now. And nobody knows that. And he's like giving him his gun to like fight him and whatnot. And like Tybalt's like, no, I'm not. I want a real fight. I'm not just going to shoot you, like whatever. And Mercutio's having none of it. He's like, this is not okay. You are being disrespected on the big little beach in the hole in the theater. And so
there is like this big stage with a hole through it,
it's
like
crazy.
a stone stage. It's the aesthetic of this whole movie is so it's like ruined Venice Beach. Just like
Venice Beach.
Everything's kind of deconstructed and broken, and it's like a city in turmoil, but also super colorful, and everyone's on drugs. Everyone's loving hot and sweaty beach times.
Hot sweaty look.
Yeah.
So Mercutio and Tybalt get super into it. They're having like a real fist fight. Romeo, I believe, tries to like break it up, and in a moment of struggle and of confusion and of intensity, Tybalt kills Mercutio.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
And this is a very important moment in the play / movie. For this reason, Alenka, again, welcome back to Shakespeare 101 with Molly. This is the moment where Romeo and Juliet as a play goes from being a comedy to a tragedy. Mercutio's death. Dun dun dun.
Once someone dies, it's all over.
It's not, because people do die in the comedies. I think I've said that, and now I'm like, I'm gonna have to like fact check myself. But so the reason Mercutio's death is so important is because it derails the entire rest of the play. At this point in the play, this movie, whatever, is ending in a wedding. Because so the wedding, I don't think actually happens. Like I think Baz Lurhman added that. So in this play, it would end here, and it would be a wedding, and it would be a comedy because every comedy ends in a wedding. But Mercutio dies, and it derails the whole thing, and now we've got a tragedy. Act 2, what's up? Here we go. Mercutio, as he's dying, gets the absolute greatest line in the entire play. A plague o' both your houses. Love that
both
speech.
of them.
Both of them.
It's
F
just
everybody
like,
up.
Fuck this.
So he says, a plague o' both your houses. And he keeps crying it out. And he's basically saying, like, I should be dying. I'm dying literally because your two families are fighting.
Yeah.
What
I'm not even part of this film.
I'm not
supposed to be here today.
This was not in my life plan.
Yeah.
I had things to do.
Exactly.
This scene is also very intense because the sky in the background
is total
like
CGI turns
looming.
like stormy.
No, that's the thing, is that it's not actually, because it was a hurricane rolling in.
Oh,
all of that wind,
what?
all of the wind that's in this scene and the gray sky, like the clouds are probably CGI.
I know, like later, but the initial, like where they watch see the gray skies roll in was super CGI.
Yes. But
yeah.
like when you're watching this scene, there's a gray sky and there's wind that you can clearly see pushing everything around. It's literally a hurricane rolling in, and 2 days later, that set was gone.
Oh yeah,
the set was completely gone because of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Like the crew is all wearing goggles while they film this because the sand and the wind was so intense. The actors are like crying real tears of pain as tiny shreds of sand like kill them.
Hit their fucking face. Hit their corn syrup red dye face.
Yeah.
Because everyone's bloody.
Everyone's bloody. There's been a huge brawl. Mercutio dies. It's very sad, especially for me. Best character. Love him to bits. R.I.P. Mercutio. Like, gone too soon.
Yeah.
Right.
Best performance in the movie.
Best performance in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, love him to pieces. And now we have a big problem, Alenka, because Captain Prince said no more fighting. And what happened? There was a big old brawl on the beach. They fought. Someone died.
Yeah.
It's not okay. So guess who gets...
Oh, and then fucking what's his face shows... I just realized that.
Who shows up?
Well, just non-speaking cameo. There's a dude who he was in Bring It On. He's the love interest in Bring It On.
Tatum.
And he's in a bunch of other shit. But yeah, no, it's
Channing
not.
Tatum shows up.
Channing Tatum. That's Step Up.
So guess who, Alenka? Oh God, sorry. Guess who gets banished?
The Montagues.
Banished.
Not just the Montagues, one specific Montague.
Oh, Romeo. Really?
Romeo.
Why just him?
Romeo.
Wait, why
Because
though?
I think
he didn't even...
Okay. I know.
Like, why not Tybalt?
I know. Why not Tybalt?
Because he's the good guy.
Why not Tybalt, Alenka?
Because he's the good guy.
You are asking the right questions. Why not Tybalt?
I'm so confused.
I think, actually, in a rewatch, that there's like this is, now we're in history of film. There's like a camera close up on Mercutio throwing his dagger gun into the sand, and I think he ends up grabbing Romeo's gun to fight Tybalt with. So I think that, or like somebody gets Romeo's gun. I think the argument is made that Romeo's gun pulls the fatal shot, even though it isn't Romeo who does it. I think that that's the argument being made.
Something like that
cinematically.
Yeah. There's like a bajillion witnesses that knows that Tybalt did it.
That knows what's actually up. So Romeo gets banished. I mean, before that, we have Juliet giving one of her famous speeches, and then Romeo's driving very angrily through the streets. And
because he's
he's on a rampage after Tybalt. He's like, I am out for blood.
Oh,
Do you know what? This is why he gets banished.
This is why he gets banished.
Banished.
Banished. He's banished to a shed.
Banished.
It's outside the city limits.
It's just outside, literally just outside. It's like, welcome to Verona, and there's a little shed beside it that Romeo lives in.
Welcome to the Verona banished shed.
Absolutely. So Romeo tears his car, follows Tybalt. He's out for blood, and he has this really impassioned thing where he's screaming in a fountain. He's like, either I or thy or both shall
or thou
go.
Or wherefore.
Yeah, he's like, either I or thy. And he says it 10 times. It's like, take a drink every time Romeo says either I or thy or both shall go. And so he's chasing Tybalt down. Yeah, he's got gun to the face. They're having it out. And this is when Captain Prince shows up and he's like, stop this madness.
Yeah. Stop this now.
He comes off as a god figure with you guys.
Little bit. Yeah. So Romeo's he's
just your classic black captain, police captain,
He is Captain Prince.
Yeah.
So he's like, Romeo.
But Romeo fucking kills Tybalt.
Oh, does he?
Oh.
Yeah.
How did I
He
forget that?
shoots
He
him.
shoots Tybalt. That's why he gets banished.
Yeah.
Because he shoots
that'll
Tybalt. He actually
do
does
it.
go
Falls
through with
fucking
it.
total Jesus style
Oh, I'm
into
so sorry,
a fountain,
everyone.
arms spread out
Oh.
into a fucking fountain.
I've let everyone down. I
Yeah.
forgot a very important part.
Yeah.
That's a
Tybalt
big
dies.
That's
one.
why he gets banished because
That's
he
why he
killed
gets banished
Tybalt.
because he kills
No,
Tybalt.
that makes
Yeah.
more
So
sense.
Tybalt dies.
Yeah.
It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
than
Romeo,
just, like,
single
Mercutio
tear.
dies.
He's like, I can't believe I did that. I killed my cousin.
I killed
Uh-huh.
literally my
marriage.
cousin. What's
yeah.
up? Like 5
Right.
minutes into this marriage, and I've killed a member of the family.
Yeah.
Right.
Mercutio's
Maybe I'm very
dead.
toxic. Maybe I'm toxic. Maybe I should leave.
Right.
Tybalt's dead. We're on a fountain on like the Vegas Strip, and Captain Prince is like, do you know what? I don't know what to do here. As a fair and just ruler, like, one dude from the Montague clan died. Oh, Romeo yells out a famous line, I am fortune's fool. Great line.
Yeah.
Captain Prince is like, I don't know what to do here. Like, a Montague
Yeah,
died,
well,
a Capulet died.
Yeah.
Fair is fair.
Well, he doesn't like he banishes Romeo, but Romeo's on the run, right? Like
Romeo's like,
Benvolio, like he the captain
Benvolio's
interrogates
like, I don't
Benvolio, and he's
fucking know.
like,
I don't know where he's gone. Like, what's
then
that?
we see. Oh yeah, Romeo's parents, by the way,
Freaking out.
yeah,
Right.
Like, just 12 out of 10.
Well, that's Juliet.
anger.
Sorry, Juliet's parents are freaking out.
Yeah, they're like,
because
we
it's
want justice.
their
We
nephew
want
or whatever.
justice. Somebody.
Okay.
do
Romeo's
something.
dad, played by Brian Dennehy, though.
Okay.
Brian
It
Dennehy.
is Brian
B-Dance,
Dennehy.
yeah.
B-Dance.
Google.
Yep.
Google it. Google it.
famous actor.
That's right.
We'll
So the parents all
see.
show up, and that's it. Brian Dennehy pulls Prince aside, and he's the one who's like, listen, lives were lost on both sides. This is a shitty situation. I don't think that my son deserves to die for this.
No.
Captain Prince is like, don't tell me how to run my city. And he declares Romeo is banished. And this is when, if we were at the Globe Theatre in London, curtain falls. Not that there's a curtain there. Curtain falls. And we are at intermission. So everyone take your little water break, take a
your
little
pee
stretch,
break.
and come on back for Act 2.
We are at
And welcome
Shakespeare's
back for Act 2.
intermission.
Welcome back.
So Romeo in a bit of a pickle. He's literally only kissed his now wife, but he's killed her cousin in the same 24-hour time space.
Yeah.
He's gone to the friar and he's like, what do I do?
The
Friar,
father.
sorry,
He's
the
gone to
father. Father Lawrence.
Baz
Father.
Lurhman's, it's the
It's a father.
father. The father.
Father Lawrence is like, here's what you do, man. Go be with your wife because like you got to consummate that to make it legal in God's eyes.
Yeah, he's just like,
Okay.
go fuck your wife.
He's like,
way.
go do the deed.
Love how
and
that like,
then-
consummate, just like, yeah.
When you're done,
Quickly, hurry up.
get the fuck out of town. Like
Yeah.
get out of town.
Huh.
I will send for you when it is safe again to
Yeah.
do so.
He's going to do damage control. This
Interesting.
is like the mob's damage control.
And he's not good
Yeah.
at damage control. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
So Romeo's like, this is a great plan. I trust you. Let's go. And he's like, okay, so I'm going to go see Juliet and then I'm going to wait for word. So he's like hiding in a closet. The nurse comes by. and-
Delivers a message from Juliet.
Yeah, because like they're star-crossed lovers. And I believe that the next bit is that Romeo goes to be with Juliet and they have their cute little night together. Obviously, not original to the text. A
Okay.
little bit of narrative influence from Baz Lurhman. He shows up. He's like, "What's up? We gonna do this?
Yeah.
What's good?"
We
And
were
Juliet's
doing
like,
this.
"Yeah, I guess we are because
Yeah.
we're man and wife, right?"
Yeah.
Right.
We
So-
do see Juliet's parents walking
and
Paul
Juliet-
right away.
Yes.
Like,
Aw.
she's not ready to see you yet.
That's
and he's
it.
like, oh, okay.
And
Because he's a
has-
nice guy. He's not going to push.
He's not going to push the sex
Yeah.
agenda the
Yeah.
night that her cousin died.
He's going to push the subject. But
And
then,
of course, she has that famous speech where she's like, "I love him, but he killed my cousin. What do I do?"
yeah,
Classic.
he did kill the cousin.
But then he
Such
shows
a-
up and all's forgiven immediately, and they just
Right.
start
yeah,
making
it's
out.
soaking wet
They
from the
get
rain.
They get right
Hair
into
wet,
it.
clothes wet.
And they, they go to Pound Town.
Yeah,
Right.
There's no other way to put it.
Shakespeare style.
Shakespeare style.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, thou art thou.
I don't get it.
So they do the deed, and
Wherefore
Romeo,
did you?
as the classy gentleman that he is, leaves immediately in the morning.
Right.
No cuddles,
Yeah.
no nothing. He's out of there. He's like, "Ooh, the nightingale. It is the lark." No,
He's just
it's
following the
lark.
father's orders.
And
Like,
he's just like,
run.
"I came and did the
Fook,
deed.
fook.
Here I go." Meanwhile, Paul
Poop.
Rudd is like wheeling and dealing the parents, being like,
Nice.
"I'm going to marry your daughter," and they're like, "We want you to marry our daughter." And there's this
Yeah.
whole plan in the background of like, "You're going to marry our daughter."
Yeah.
So that's happening in the background. Important, like side plot.
Mm.
then Romeo's like, okay, well, I have to go because like I killed your cousin. That's still a thing. So I'm a man on the run. And she's like, oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, you did, I guess. But like, whatever. Please stay forever. So he leaves because then her mother's coming in. She's like, get out, get out, get out, get out. My mom is coming. Who hasn't been there, right?
Yeah.
Right. First time she's seen her
down
in
the
months.
He climbs. Exactly. He climbs down. The mom comes in and she's just like, Juliet, oh, today is the greatest day. I know yesterday Tybalt died and that was very sad.
Well, no, I think this is the scene like she tells, because this is the night, this is literally the morning after.
Yeah.
And they have not seen Juliet yet.
No,
They're
she
about
knows.
to tell her. No, they're about to tell her
No way.
that Tybalt died.
No, she was crying at the altar when Romeo showed up.
Oh, really?
Because like they had a funeral for Tybalt.
I thought she's about to tell her because
No.
Okay.
We were debating on whether or not Juliet knows that Tybalt's dead, and she absolutely does.
Okay.
This is the famous scene where she's like, I see thou now as though thou were at the bottom of a tomb, which foreshadowing for anyone writing an essay about Romeo and Juliet. This is a classic sign of foreshadowing. Use that for your textual
What did
editing.
he say again?
She says like, I see thou now when he's down at the bottom of the balcony. In this movie, he's in the pool. I don't know why he decided now was a good time for a swim. But she's like, I see thou now as though thou wert at the bottom of a tomb. Which will be important later.
What does this mean in English?
Mama Capulet.
Tomb?
Like a tomb. She sees him as though he were standing at the bottom of a tomb, like in a grave.
Okay,
like he's in a grave.
In his grave.
I get confused with all the fancy words.
It's fancy words.
Yeah.
So Lady Capulet shows
Lady
up,
Capulet's all like,
and
you're
she's
gonna
like,
fuck Paul Rudd.
Yeah, exactly.
She's
go
like,
to Pound Town with
I
P-Town.
know Tybalt P-Town. She's like, I know Tybalt died yesterday. That was a super bummer. However, today you have a new husband. What's up? Enter Paul Rudd. And Juliet's like, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with Paul Rudd.
She doesn't
Mama
know.
Capulet, obviously upset. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what's good for her. She's 14.
Yeah.
So Juliet's like, what do I do? This is devastating. I'm already married and I can't tell my parents because I made a poor teenage decision. What do I do? And like Lady Capulet.
Teenage wasteland.
Lady Capulet says something super cutting to like Lord Capulet. She says something just like, that's not my daughter, it's your daughter. And like Juliet's like, I hate my life. My parents don't understand me.
Just classic, you know?
Yeah.
I don't have to do what they say.
Yeah.
Man. We shit on teenagers.
So it's not good. It's not good in it's not good in Capulet land. Yeah. The nurse is like, I will help you through this because I'm the only person in this movie who cares about you. However, a colossal mistake is made. She's like, we'll go to Father Lawrence. He knows how to problem solve everything.
He's a smart guy.
Hey,
he's a very
why
smart
didn't people think this?
Smart dude.
I don't know.
Just trust the priest. Trust your priest, okay? Just trust him.
It's never gone wrong in the past.
Yeah.
Trust him.
He knows.
So
he makes science experiments in his fucking church garden.
He's got his weird church garden. He knows what's up. He knows how to do things. So the nurse is like, don't worry, man. We're going to figure this out. There's always a solution. Yeah. It's all going to be okay. I think we next cut scene to the shed. No, that's it. We meet Paul Rudd officially as our betrothed. We're like hanging out with Friar Lawrence with Paul Rudd to like plan wedding stuff. And Juliet's like, now's my chance. So she pulls Father Lawrence aside and she's like, help me. What do I do? Oh my God, I'm so confused. What do I do? And he comes up with the Oh, that's it. She brings a gun.
Oh, yeah.
She brings a gun to the meeting with Father Lawrence. And she's like, I'm going to kill myself. I need to be with him.
Super angsty.
What's up? Pulls the gun on Father Lawrence. She's like, you figure this out.
Oh my.
You better figure this shit out right now. It's your fault. Everything.
Obviously panicked. So he's like, I don't want to die like this at the hands of a 14-year-old with a gun.
Yeah, so he comes up with a brilliant idea. Brilliant
Absolutely
idea.
Genius plan that Father Lawrence comes up with.
And
we all know that plan, don't we?
Do we?
Well, he's going to give Juliet a special potion that puts her to sleep. It honestly sounds like he's going to roofie her. He's like, I'm going to put you to sleep for like 2 days and everyone is going to think you're dead. And I'm going to send a letter to Romeo and be like, she's asleep in a tomb. Go find her. And he's going to come find you and you're going to magically wake up when Romeo's there and it's all going to be okay. And you guys can just be together forever.
Yeah.
Solid plan. 10 out of 10.
That seems like
Nothing
a good
could go
plan
wrong.
for real. Get the letter to him. It'll be fine.
I mean, there's a classic meme, Alenka, of I don't remember the character name, but it's Will Arnett in Arrested Development throwing a letter at the ocean. And he's constantly throwing this letter at the ocean, and the wind keeps catching it and pushing it back, and it's like Father Lawrence trying to get the letter to Romeo.
To
and
tell
it's
him
just
that she's
Will
not
Arnett,
actually dead.
like throwing this letter at the ocean, and like it's very accurate.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like the friar back in the day was, I guess, like the apothecary, and like,
well,
so
I think
also did potions and did health stuff,
I think
and then
that they
also was
cut
the
the
father.
apothecary out of this, right?
Yeah,
there is an apothecary character in the play,
the apothecary, but then
and they've just given that job to
I preach
father.
Jesus, I make potions, I am a scientist,
I am in touch with the
God.
natural world.
Exactly. Yeah. So we cut to Romeo. He's like in his little trailer park playing baseball.
Oh, yeah, he's literally in this like desert trailer. He's out in Burning Man. He's out there having a great
time, living fast, dying young in Birmingham. Burning Man.
Birmingham.
Birmingham. He's with the Peaky Blinders.
No, he's in Birmingham, Alabama, not Birmingham, England.
I was thinking.
Juliet is on the eve of her second wedding. She's lived a lot for 14.
Girl.
Playing with her little vial of magic juice that the friar gave her. Her mom comes in to try and have another one of those classic motherly daughter chats
that she fucking missed years of.
Just absolutely flames out of that one and is like, never mind, I can't do this. Juliet gives her a very like soulful goodbye.
Yeah, she's like, I'm about to fake kill myself now.
Like, it's been nice knowing you. Bye. Tomorrow everything changes. What's up?
So she kills herself.
She takes the potion,
quote unquote,
falls asleep. Everyone thinks she's dead, and they have a funeral for Juliet. Very sad. The prince. Whatever, Dave is there.
When the father's going through this plan, we see all these future scenes as he's talking about it. Like, you know, everyone's kind of like, everyone's kind of, he's like talking about it, and we see the flash forward to the funeral. Right. But I want to see where they stop and someone goes, "What if they cremate you?" And then he goes, "What if they cremate me?" And he goes, "They won't cremate you," and then she gets cremated.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that cut too, because like that
would be like the modern non-Shakespeare comedy version of it.
Right. Yeah. So this is how the movie gets around, and like, so in the play, it's just that the letter never gets delivered.
Yeah.
In the movie, what they do is that one of those random Montague boys that
guy who is the love interest in Bring It On.
There it is. The guy who's the love interest in Bring It On, whose name I can't remember. Both Channing Tatum shows up.
It's him
in the wrong movie, and he sees Juliet's funeral,
and he's like, "Oh my god!"
Like, "Oh my god! Someone's got to tell Romeo. I'm going to be the guy to tell Romeo. I'm going to be the guy to ruin Romeo's life."
And the father looks as he runs off, and he goes, like, "Fuck! I should have sent that letter sooner. That should have been the first thing I did."
Expedited parcel was not expedited enough.
I should have sent a dove.
Also, just a side note: the FedEx company. It's literally the FedEx like slogan or like logo in this movie, but it's called post haste because everybody sends things post haste.
That's great.
But it looks like it says FedEx and it just says post haste,
which
I love. So
it cuts to Romeo out in the desert,
right?
And he's got this cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he just looks so cool.
Looking so cool. He never.
Paul Rudd doesn't smoke.
Exactly. No. He never received the notice that said that his letter did not come. And his friend shows up. Channing Tatum shows up. And is like,
it is him.
Discount Channing Tatum.
This guy did not have the career Channing Tatum did, unfortunately.
And like Leo is all over him. He's like, "Tell me of my beloved. Tell me of Verona. Tell me what I'm missing." And he gets real solemn real fast. And he's like, "Dude, she dead. Like,
she died.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Saw it with my own eyes,
literally,
dude.
She's gonzo. She's gonzo bagonza." And Romeo,
he's like, "I'm gonna go hang out with Kirsten Dunst now."
Yeah,
and
he's
bring
like,
it on.
"Bye, gotta go. Got another movie contract." Leo's like crying. He's upset. I am fortune's fool. I find fault in your stars. Yeah.
Oh,
he's like
that movie.
Does he say fault in their stars?
He says something about fault. The fault is in your. Yeah, he does say something.
Is in our stars.
Something like that. Stars
that
are very important.
With what's her name?
Juliet.
It's a Star Wars.
Shailene
Woodley.
So she shows up. No.
Yeah, she shows up with her fucking oxygen tank. And she's like, that's actually Rosalind. She's like, I dumped her because she had cancer. So then I found Juliet, but then she died. So I might as well just be with someone who's gonna die.
Romeo would dump somebody because they had cancer.
Yeah, that's true. That would be a Romeo move.
That's a very Romeo move.
He is kind of trash.
So he's very upset, and he's kind of like, all right, we got to pivot. We got to problem solve. We got to figure out how we move on with life. And what does he do? What anybody else would do. He's like, guess I got to go kill myself in the arms of my beloved.
Yeah, I have to go to the altar.
The only logical answer.
Yeah.
I think the logic is that he's like, I need to see this for myself. I think that's the actual logic if we're going to get technical.
Yeah.
So he like jumps in his little beat up fucking car, drives all the way back to Verona Beach where he is banished from, and he like goes to the apothecary. The apothecary does still exist.
Yes.
I'm sorry, listeners. I've let you down for a third time. He does go to the apothecary. It's this strange man who lives in this like really shitty, I mean, he's clearly a drug dealer. Lives in this shitty place, and he like pulls out this little secret vial from under a plant, and like meanwhile the father, whatever, is having a goddamn panic attack. He's freaking out. He's like, what have I done? Romeo should be here by now. I wish I could explain it to him. What do I do? Meanwhile, the apothecary is like losing his mind, being like, take these drugs, such mortal drugs I have. Like,
he's like, give me some poison to kill myself. He has guns. Why doesn't he just shoot himself? Why does he have to get poison?
Another classic line that I love. Again, sorry, listeners. Y'all signed up for this.
Yeah.
Is,
also, there's a literal SWAT. Oh, sorry.
There is a little SWAT.
Say it.
No. Well, yeah, no, right. There is a little SWAT. No, the good line is just when he's buying the drugs. There is. Oh my gosh! Yeah, the SWAT team like follows Romeo. He's like
in
on
a helicopter.
He's on that show. What's that show? Like 911. Like cops. He's on like cops. Basically,
he's a bad boy.
No, a good line is that Romeo just says like, "I pay thy poverty and not thy morality," or something like that. I pay thy poverty and not thy something. Because he's like, I don't want to give this to you. Well, basically, the apothecary is like, I don't want to give this to you because I'm going to feel super guilty, and but I'm super poor, so I need to give it to you because he doesn't want to give him a poison. He's like, what are you going to do with this? Like that could come back on me. And Romeo's like, I pay thy poverty and not thy conscience or something. I can't remember what the word is.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm giving you money because you're poor, not like I'm like don't take it because you morally think this is true. But you're right, Will. SWAT is like literally following Romeo. They're like, ooh, Romeo's back in Verona. This will be good TV.
While all this is happening, he's like being chased by police trying to get to the fucking church where she is. The father is like, I better fucking send this letter now. He's literally trying to fucking overnight this letter at post haste. He's literally at a counter, like, he's like,
Lord,
can you send this letter?
Romeo is literally on foot.
I need express service,
running away from police cars. Like,
come on.
It's a goddamn gun chase. Like
he takes a fucking priest hostage, like one of the other priests.
He's like, let me go into the tomb and be with my love. The SWAT team is closing in with Captain Prince. He's like shooting out the lights on the helicopter. It's very intense. It's just how Shakespeare would have wanted it at the Globe Theater.
Oh yeah, he was like
22.
If you picture, he's like, I want. He's like, I want flying horse machines.
I want a flying horse machine with a big old light on it. And I want
with a giant candle illuminating the sky.
It's exactly how Shakespeare envisioned it when he penned the final famous scene. And now here we have arrived, everyone. Welcome.
It's the final scene.
The final scene of Romeo plus Juliet. Does anyone know what happens? Does anyone want to take a guess at what happens in the final scene? I'll give you a hint. It's stipulated in the prologue.
Moved to Idaho from the beach. Yeah. They grow some
Romeo,
potatoes.
Forever and ever.
Here we go.
And then Paul Rudd ends up with Rosalind. They become neighbors, and it's a big happy family.
And that's the real subplot. Is that Rosalind and Paul and Dave get together. Rosalind and Dave.
I really wish it was just Dave.
Find their love. So we've got Leo,
Mercutio, and Balzac, and Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Romeo, Leo has entered the tomb.
Also, like, in what religion and what does this happen? Like,
so Juliet, for context, Juliet is surrounded by thousands of candles, thousands of varying heights.
Open
She's
air on the bed. It's an open casket, but not even a casket. She's not even in a casket.
She's in a bed. She's in a literal bed.
Yeah.
Romeo is literally sobbing. He's weeping at the altar of Juliet, surrounded by all these candles, and he's just like, I only got to fuck her once.
You couldn't do this. You could not do this unless you made a point that, like, Romeo lost his cell phone. You couldn't do it modern times because it would just be the father be like, "Yo, Romeo."
You would just text.
Romeo,
like
she not
Seinfeld.
dead.
Yeah.
Half of Seinfeld can't exist in 2020. Like
Right.
Romeo and Juliet can't exist in 2020. You would just figure it out.
Yeah.
Romeo very carefully places his gun on a pillow next to Juliet. Important. Coming back to that later.
Okay.
And he says some very beautiful lines that I can't remember about like her pale skin and her red lips, I'm pretty sure. Talking about her, eternal youth. It's like that song like, if I die young.
Well, it's not eternal youth because she's still just a child. It's still just her youth.
A child. It is just her
and like
youth.
he's like, I'm glad we had sex at least once.
He's like, man, you were the best / only lay I ever had.
Other than Rosalind.
We're gonna have a cute little cuddle with your dead corpse.
Yeah.
Rigor mortis hasn't set in, but I'm not questioning it, even though you've been dead. Oh, you twitched.
You're not
That's
cold.
weird. You're not cold. Yeah, exactly. He's like, why aren't you cold yet? And I'm like, because she's not dead, you idiot.
Oh, man.
And open a biology textbook. Figure it out.
Okay, these people are supposed to be like 14. Why aren't they in school? I guess it's summertime.
Why aren't they in
It's the
school?
summertime.
Why haven't they taken biology? Why doesn't he know?
They're also in
He gives her his
gangs.
fatal.
That's true. They are gang members.
They are in gangs. He gives her his fatal last kiss, strokes her hair a couple of times more, and he's like, "I guess I'm gonna do this." And this is again.
Poison.
So again, we're gonna watch as if you're watching along. He puts his ring on her. They're like fully married, and she's twitching. She's moving. She's literally shifting around because she is coming out of her poison.
He's like, it's just the bones settling.
It's the bones settling. Classic. As they do. Her hands are moving and he can't figure it out. He's holding her and he can't figure out that she's, I don't know, not dead.
Yeah.
Also, what about her heartbeat?
I know.
You can't stop her heartbeat.
No, well, the whole point, I think it's probably like slows the heartbeat to like a
it would still be
an unrecognizable level,
it would still be.
That would be like modern
This
movie.
is bothersome.
I want a doctor to come on and tell me how the fuck you can
this
like
is actually
do this.
There's no
bothersome.
doctors. There's just gang members
I need
and
a
priests
doctor
who
to
make
tell
potions.
me how Juliet convinced everyone she was dead.
She did.
And convinced Romeo while he's hugging and cuddling and snotting all over her.
This potion is like, if this potion could do this, I feel like it would be a pretty long wake up time, like at least half an hour to like really come out of it.
Right.
And she like immediately comes out of it. It's like he's like 2 seconds too late.
Yeah, so we're not there yet, Will.
So
they have their final kiss. Her eyes are literally open. Her eyes are open. She is looking at Romeo. I will not stop, Alenka. He looks up. He's like, goodbye, cruel world. I'm going to the worst part is she's smiling. She's like, oh, it all worked out. The plan worked. Here he is, my Romeo. What's up? And then he's like, oh, I'm going to do this. She strokes his face. He's already taken the poison and he dies making eye contact with her.
Oh my God.
Yep. So now she's holding his body as he fades away.
Now, does this happen in the original? Like, do they actually interact while he's dead? No,
this is a Baz Lurhman cut. This is a Baz Lurhman cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the original, because I was there way back in 1592.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
I was a groundling at the Globe stage. It was a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. No. So Romeo takes the poison, falls asleep on her, dies, and then she wakes up and she's like, "Where's my love? Where's my Romeo?"
Yeah.
They cut those lines here. She doesn't say that. She just like gets straight to it and is like, "Oh, happy dagger." Like, or no, she kisses him because she's like, that drugs are quick. And she wants to get the poison off of his lips, but he took it all. And she's like, "Oh, you hogged all the poison."
She's like, baby bird it into my mouth.
Literally, she's like, baby bird it into my mouth. And then she gets mad at him. She gets mad at him and is like, "You took all the poison for yourself. You're so selfish.
Fucking selfish
you
bitch.
Fucking selfish bitch." Yeah. And he dies. And she's like, "I hate this. What do I do?" Looking around, she's like, "What do I do?" And what do you see? Big old gun on the pillow right next to her.
Long sword.
Sorry, no, it's a dagger. It's actually a dagger.
His dagger.
Because it is that famous line, "Oh, happy dagger, like, let me be thy sheath."
Yeah.
And then what does she do? She motherfucking stabs herself. In this movie, she shoots herself.
She shoots herself in the goddamn head.
She shoots herself.
She shoots herself in the head?
I can't remember, but she does shoot herself.
I don't know. Sometime she shoots herself.
But, and then lo and behold, in the head. Shoots herself in the head with the tiniest little blood splatter on Leo's face.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then they're dead together in the tomb, as predicted by the chorus, as predicted. There's a lot of foreshadowing. You can write a whole essay on it.
I mean, if you didn't know what happened,
you're an idiot.
Where have you been?
Welcome.
Let's start there.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
I remember my grandmother had some story about like sitting down for a Romeo and Juliet ballet, and at the end the people beside her were weeping, and they were like, they died? Like they exclaimed, like, why did they die? And she just turned to them, she was like, do you know what like ballet you came to? Like,
what?
It's Romeo and Juliet.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Like, don't you know?
Oh, Lord,
where have you been?
Them. Oh.
Yeah.
Then we do a cute montage of their love story, and then
their one day love story.
24-hour period. It was an intense 24 hours. And then the prince comes in. I mean, at this point, it is over. But the prince, Captain Prince,
Shakespeare always has to have an epilogue. It's not like it's not like an easy ending. It's like a guy has to come in and be like, "Now, if you didn't like what happened, please don't write us. It's okay. You didn't like it.
Don't write, don't text, don't call.
Let's
don't let us know.
Learn the lessons. Go home, please."
Right.
And of course, it always has to end on a couplet, right?
Yeah, and then it turns into real Law and Order. Like they're pulling the bodies out in body bags. It's fucking blue tint.
Wow.
Like blue wash color grading. Both fucking Italian actor that I forget the name and Brian Dennehy are there. The parents, they're like so sad.
Everyone's there. Even Dave is there. Dave is heartbroken because it was literally Juliet died on the eve of their wedding day.
Yeah. Dave loved her. He
truly loved her. And then Captain Prince comes in and he's like, "What happened here?" And Benvolio, I can't remember if they do it in this movie, but Benvolio steps up and is like, "Man, I don't know what happened. Just a lot of bad things. These families shouldn't fight." And Captain Prince is like, "Y'all did this. Y'all created this mess. This is why I tried to get you to not fight literally at the beginning of this play.
Yeah.
Like, what's up? I was right. You were wrong. I told you
it was going to happen."
And then he like delivers the final speech. And of course, the final classic last two lines: "Never was there a tale of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo."
She owns him.
Well,
like just like the beginning, it ends on a television screen.
Yeah, classic. Pull back from the television screen.
I want to see
Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Baz Luhrmann's.
I also googled just Romeo plus Juliet, and like the first picture is like all these Montagues holding their guns sideways in like Miami Vice, Hawaiian shirts.
Oh fuck! I totally forgot about it. Total sideways guns.
Yeah,
the whole movie.
Yes, like this is just what Miami came up, and it is just like I'm so interested. I need to watch
you have
this.
to, Aleka. You have to.
Yeah,
is it
Baz
on
Luhrmann
Netflix,
is quite
guys?
a filmmaker.
What the hell?
It is not, but I will point you in the direction of where you can get it.
We'll consent it. Yeah. So it is great. And I mean, Romeo and Juliet, guys,
it got a lot of shit. Like it's made fun of a lot.
You know what?
This movie.
It's aged better. So it got a lot of shit in 96. But like people with hindsight are like, actually, it's fucking great. And it is.
It's super good.
Wait, why did it get so much shit?
Just because of the guns and because it was so modern, but still the original text, and like it was just a lot of like,
also,
why are you doing this?
Baz Luhrmann's style is very weird.
Very
like he
weird
does
style.
like the aesthetic is so bright and weirdly colorful. He does a lot of like weird cuts and fast cuts, and there's a lot of interesting, quirky characters. Like even Mercutio, right? People probably were off put by it's Paul Sorvino. That's the actor who plays Father Capulet. He's the Italian guy who's always in mob boss mode.
I have to give a shout out to Mercutio. Hang on.
Who's Mercutio? Oh wow.
Bear with me, everyone. Harold Perrineau as Mercutio. Shout out to Harold Perrineau.
He's
fucking
fantastic.
Everyone sleeps on his performance.
And he dies so early on.
Rude.
He turns the play into a tragedy.
He does, yeah.
Mercutio's death is the crux. So good.
It's great. It's a great.
I'm really enjoying looking at the gifs of this.
This is what I'm saying, guys.
There's probably some great gifs.
I have to say, thank you so much for having me back on. I absolutely love Shakespeare, love your podcast, and I love this movie. So thank you so much. And I'm once again sorry to the listeners for coming to my like hour and 40 lecture on why you should care about Shakespeare and why Romeo and Juliet is his best.
Things.
Yeah, you're learning a lot.
Well, I learned that wherefore meant why.
Yeah. It totally does. But I feel like that's a debate, though. Maybe I don't know. Or is that the real?
I'm on Team Y. If it's a debate, I'm on Team Y.
There you go.
It means Y.
Yeah. Well, what did you think, Alinka?
I freaking love it. I want to watch it. I'm like so
yes.
Like I just searched Romeo plus Juliet Mercutio, and I'm just elated to see these. Like, what is going on?
It's so good.
Okay, him in his costume, amazing. Him on the beach with his open shirt, awesome. Him waving his foot around.
Fine as hell.
He's literally waving his foot around in someone's face. Like, what is going on?
He's amazing.
Jazzed on this.
He's great.
Like, I need to.
How many?
I was going to say, how many of these have you rewatched?
How many?
It's just so great.
I know. How many Paul Rudds do you give this movie?
Oh my gosh. I give this.
Paul Rudd.
Oh. Okay, here's what I give this. Okay. So there's a there's like a cut. Somebody made a cut from Paul Rudd on the Hot Ones interview, and it's Paul Rudd interviewing himself. And I give this movie that Paul Rudd interview because it makes me so happy, and it's so good. Rudd. And it's double the Rudd, and that's all the Rudd you need, because one's already fantastic, but you don't want to overwhelm, and two is just like, look at them, just look at them. It's good.
Look at them.
Yeah,
that's what I give this.
Yeah,
it's so good. I dream to be on that.
That's
one
fantastic.
Day.
That's a good rating.
Yeah, right. You guys should do. I don't know how that would work, but you should somehow like incorporate it into this.
Do a Hot Ones version of our
our
podcast.
Yes, instead of a drink, it's hot sauce hot wings. Honestly,
fuck.
Yeah, and you can buy the Hot Ones hot sauces.
Totally. Maybe that'll be the Dumb and Dumber episode.
Oh, great idea! Great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on again, saving our ass, Molly.
Literally,
call me anytime. Love it. Thank you so much.
Everyone,
for
thank Molly in the comments listening right now, please.
Yes.
Oh, stop.
If our listeners want to follow you, or if you have anything to plug, anything you want to plug in relation to anything you want,
do you know what? Y'all should check out the IBL.
We should.
Sundays and Wednesdays, guys. 2 p.m. on Sundays, 7:30 on Wednesdays. Come to Christy Pitts. I'll be there watching baseball. It's a great time. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Mollie.Garrett. And then on Twitter, I think it's @MissMollie23.
Did you make it when you were 23?
No, that's my birth. It's so lame. December 23rd.
Oh,
so
yes.
I don't know. I don't know why, but that's what it was, and that's what it is, and now I'm stuck with it. That's the plight of being a millennial, is that you make these stupid accounts when you're young, and you're just stuck with it forever.
Because you've already accumulated followers.
Like, I'm not going to give that up.
Like,
what's up? That's my history. I'm there. So it's Miss Mollie 23, and I'm just going to live with that forever, because the internet is forever.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's Miss Haven't Seen It Podcast 22. No,
it's not.
No, if you want to follow us, it's Haven't Seen It Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and haven't_seen_it on Twitter. You can go to our website, haven'tseenapodcast.com, and see the big list of movies Alinka hasn't seen. Molly looked at it today. This is why she chose this movie.
This is why we're here.
And we're perpetually nominated for Canadian Podcast Award for
congratulations
for opening theme, but we
and congratulations.
No news on that yet.
Zach. I'm so proud.
Yeah, congrats, Zach.
Good job,
no news
Zach.
on that yet, but
you'll know when we do, baby.
Leave us a review. Yeah, leave us a review. Or comment on our stuff if you're like, I like this. Comment if you don't like it. Comment. I'll take both.
I'll take either.
All content is good content.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for listening, you guys. And on that note, like, if you meet somebody, maybe give it like a little bit more time than a solid 24 before you commit to death. Yeah. Yeah, don't take drugs. Don't take drugs.